Hey friends, welcome back to Between the Sundays, where each week we take a look back at the past Sunday's sermon, talk about its major themes, and try to connect those themes back to everyday life. It's a chance for us to keep this conversation going. Thanks for joining us.
Hi friends, we're here for another episode of Between the Sundays, and today we're going to be talking about Michael's stellar sermon on Sunday.
That's one way to describe it.
It was excellent. So we began a new sermon series, and this is stewardship season.
It is.
So how did you come up with the stewardship theme of belonging together? Why that?
Yeah, it really came out of a number of conversations that I had with people over the years who said, like, I'm ready to join, I want to be a member, but like, what are the things I have to do to be a member? I think there's always, like, whenever we join something, we want to know, like, what are the requirements for fitting in? And like, there aren't any definitive requirements. But I think to form a community together, there are a couple of shared practices or shared commitments that help form communities. And so we're covering a number of those in this 4-part series.
Yeah. No, I think it's going to be a really, really helpful series for a lot of reasons. I mean, I like the 4 aspects of being church together that you chose.
Yeah.
Was picking prayer as the theme for the first Sunday a purposeful choice, or
No.
It was just kind of okay?
Originally, in the original plan, it was a 4-part alliteration with all P's.
Yes, I remember that.
And that has shifted, thankfully. But in the brainstorming, prayer just kind of came first in the list of P's, which strategically was a poor choice because how do I say this in a way that doesn't make me lose my job? I'm not great at prayer. I don't fully understand prayer. And so to kick off a series with prayer, I think the church consultants would have told me was not the best place to start. But here we are.
Oh, I think it's the best place to start.
Theologically, it's the best place to start, yes.
Yeah.
Practically, and me doing the sermon on prayer was probably not the greatest choice.
Well, you fooled me, and I think you fooled the congregation.
Yeah.
I think your job is safe.
Okay.
So, more questions about prayer.
Lovely.
So how does prayer bring a community together? You mentioned that in your sermon.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really, really big part of prayer is it is a community action. Again, and kind of in like what I said in the sermon on Sunday, I don't know how prayer works. I don't understand the mechanics of it. I don't always understand the techniques or whatever. But what I do know is that, like, when people pray for each other, I have seen bonds of community grow stronger. And I think there is something deeply spirit-filled in that holds those things together.
Yeah. We, in Parlor Pals, we talked about prayer also.
Yeah.
And, and there was a wide range of understanding about prayer, including some, I'm in the same boat with you. So this, if this church feels like it they may be vacant 2 pastor positions because,
It's a good thing we have a pastor nominating committee. They might just have to shift into the primary spot.
Get them in gear. But I mean, I think it's one of those mysterious things that we never fully understand what it is or how it works or why it works. I've been reading a book about kind of spirituality in the brain and how, I mean, there have been, to get kind of sciencey geeky here, I mean, there have been like scientific experiments that show that there are different parts of our brains that kind of light up when we pray and that they've done experiments with people in different rooms who one is praying and one is feeling the effects of that prayer. So
Yeah.
there is something to prayer. I don't, yeah, whether it's the Spirit or, I mean, I guess that's what it is the Spirit that's at work. But like you, I have no clue how it works.
Yeah, that's Nadia Bolz-Weber says that she is learning herself that prayer is not this cosmic vending machine where you put the quarter in and turn the knob and God just hand delivers you whatever you asked for. I think, to be rather blasphemous, the prayer before the OU Texas game on Saturday, I don't think God is too concerned about which one of these two universities wins the football game.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I don't
Maybe
think
he's
so.
a Texas fan.
I'm very doubtful of that. But like sometimes that's our default prayers are into kind of those more simple things. And I think that's where I struggle. Like if my prayer is that OU wins on Saturday and OU wins, how come God answered that prayer
Yeah.
and not like, hey, there are starving children across the world, please give them food, and that doesn't happen. Like there's a real theological tension there that I am not always able to untangle.
Yeah. And I don't think anybody can, at least
Right.
not in this lifetime.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is why I think my preference for prayer is communal prayer, is because it is a relay race. Like the times that I cannot do this for myself, there is a community of people that can hold it up for me.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, and I think that's what brings people together, is that sense of I got this diagnosis, or I have a friend in a bad situation, and I can't hold the weight of this myself, but yet the whole community can help carry that for me.
We can do it together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. So you write, so that's how community grows,
That's how community grows.
through prayer. And you say, these were my favorite lines from your sermon.
Okay.
You say, not by counting heads,
Yeah.
but by holding hearts. And then later on in that sentence, you said, where prayer is a thread that holds us together. So how do you specifically see that happening at FPC? And how do you see that happening here? Or how have you seen that happen here?
Yeah, I mean, I think the part of that section was really emphasizing a trap that I fall into of counting heads.
Yep.
I mean, and you know this, like I love numbers. I have spreadsheets and spreadsheets of worship attendance numbers going 7 years back, like the whole thing. But those numbers don't tell the whole story, right? It's the names of people who have walked through these doors and have found a place of belonging and community and of support. And so, I mean, like, okay, so here, let's a story, right? Number of years ago, there were a couple of people in this congregation who had sat in the same pew together for years and years and years. They had kind of casually known each other by name, had hung out occasionally. Well, turns out a couple of years later, one of the gentlemen realized he needed a kidney transplant, right? And so went through the testing, went through the matching. We brought it to the church and said, hey, here's a concern. If you can be tested, be tested. Well, the person who matched is the person who sat with him in that same pew for years and years and years. I think that is an answer to prayer.
Yeah.
And they're both, alive and well and fantastic and doing great. And that brought those two families together in a really unique way. And I think it brought this whole community together in a sign of support and love, in a way that I haven't seen in other places.
Yeah. Boy, that's a powerful story.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that emphasizes what you're saying, that prayer is a communal thing, and it's an individual thing too. But
Absolutely.
yeah, I like that aspect of when we can't do for ourselves, there are other people around us who can, and that through it all, God is working in some mysterious way.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all I got.
Great. I'm glad. It was a pretty short sermon this week.
I wouldn't. I mean, this is not disparaging. I would not have known that it was a short sermon
It was.
because it was so rich and so full.
Well, I think the whole day was rich and full between a bunch of baptisms, a bunch of new members, some really awesome music,
Yep.
World Communion Sunday. There was just a whole lot going on. The vibes were good. And so
were
I'm glad the sermon didn't bring it down.
Heavens, no! It brought it all together. It brought it all together. So thank you,
Good.
Michael.
Thanks, Carol.
Thanks. We'll see you next time. Bye.